Hi everybody, it's Victoria Kennedy, medium clairvoyant from Los Angeles, California. And, I think that on today's episode of VK's Rant and Rave, I want to have a little discussion about how parents literally harm their children to the point where they actually kill them. And, this actually is stemming from the missing 7-month-old baby boy, Emmanuel. But he's not the only one. I want to say we had in the 80s, we had a mom who ended up saying that there was a African American male who ended up killing her 2 boys, but at the end it was found out that she actually killed her boys. And it wasn't that long ago where she was actually up for parole, but that definitely was a no-go. But why do I'm going to say parents, why do parents feel the need to hurt their children? Why? I know that my son can drive me freaking bananas. And I'm sure if you have kids, they actually will do the same thing to you, but he's not going to drive me to the point where I want to cause any type of bodily harm to him. I could never, ever imagine myself doing that to him. So why do parents think that it's okay if they do that to their kids? There's so many stories. There's so many heartbreaking stories where the parents literally cause so much bodily harm to their child that look at this situation alone with this 7-month-old baby that's missing. And I know that he isn't here anymore. And it's just so sad. But what can this innocent 7-month-old baby do to anyone or any child that makes their parents pretty much just lose it to the point of killing their own child? Going back to my son, he's a great kid. He really is. But he's also your typical teenager. And there's times when he does stupid things. Why? Because he's a boy and he's a teenager. But again, I'm not going to go and inflict any type of bodily harm on him. If I step on his foot or if we're messing around and I accidentally scratch him or something, I feel so bad. So being one of those parents who end up hurting somebody's child, I just cannot comprehend that. They have taken away this beautiful 7-month-old baby boy's future. And, literally I have no words aside from saying that it's heartbreaking. It truly is. And this mom, what is wrong with her? Why is she making up these lies? So what I'm feeling is that the dad is the mastermind behind all of this. And the mom is basically going along for the ride. Just seeing the way that the dad, or the husband, I guess we should call him, how he actually has his hand on the mom. When I watch these videos of them, we have a mom who does not even look at the camera. And why doesn't she? Because she can't. Because she's so freaking ashamed of what she has done. She knows deep down in her heart that what has happened to this little baby boy is not right. And she knows she's going to go to jail for this. How can any parent not realize the implications of this? I just don't get it. I don't understand it. And she's making up this story about taking her baby, changing his diaper, somebody coming up behind her and just saying, "Hola." Really? And even if that was the case, because again, I feel that this is just one lie after another. even if that was the case, think about it. And I watch enough CSI, I watch enough, videos and things such as that. But if somebody is going to go and want to legitimately kidnap your child, first of all, they're not going to go up behind you and say, "Hola, hey, guess what? I'm about to hurt you so I can take your child." That's not going to happen. And second of all, she's not going to hear anything. The only thing that she would have heard, if it was true, would have been whatever type of bodily force that these alleged kidnappers were using to subdue her, to knock her unconscious, to cause her to have those 2 black eyes, which we know that those are old bruises. So, it's just one lie after another. And again, that's why she's not able to look in the camera when she's talking, because she's showing guilt. She's showing that she's ashamed. And there's no freaking tears. Where are the tears? And don't even let me get started about that sigh. I'm pretty sure you've heard it when she's giving her own take on what happened. All of a sudden she gives out this sigh. Right? That's because it's guilt. It is killing her deep within her soul because she knows what she did. And I don't even think that baby was with her when she went to the alleged Big Five. I think that whatever happened to this adorable 7-month-old baby had already happened before this actually occurred. And the dad, why do you want to have children with someone who already has any type of issues with children? And from my understandings, and I could be wrong, but I also believe I heard, and I know you can't hear it, I know you cannot believe everything you hear, but from my understandings, apparently crime runs in his family. So if there's been other charges with this man in regards to children, why would you want to stay with this person? Why would you want to have your children in that home? I can tell you right now that this guy, he's a scum of the earth. Okay? This is a guy who he manhandles his wife, and she's just as dumb to stick around. And if he is being physically abusive towards his wife, chances are he's being abusive in other ways to her. And what about the children? These children are so young, and they look at what they've already endured. What type of therapy are they going to need because of this dad? Okay, and let's continue talking about the dad's family. The sister went on and she did this video. That was the worst thing she ever could have did. It was so bad, the lies that were going on, I could not even continue watching it any further. Because if I would have continued watching this video any further, I probably would want to go to her house and just kick the shit out of her. Literally. Like, when is this going to stop? When are moms going to finally decide, okay, I'm going to need some type of mental health. I'm going to need some type of therapy assistance. I'm going to need whatever it might be so they can get out of these relationships. So that way they do not have to be the goat and say, this is what happened. And even vice versa. When are the dads going to say, enough's enough, my wife needs help? Is this something that we're just so blind to? Oh, I have the perfect spouse, I have the perfect child. I mean, is that what we have become as a society, just immune to that? Which we know so many people need that mental health. help. And then when you try to get somebody that help, it takes freaking forever. Forever. And they don't even address the problems. And this is the outcome. This is the underlying outcome. There's some type of rage. There is something obviously going on. That is not right. We know it. And every single person knows that the family, the mom and the dad, had something to do with this. And when I heard that law enforcement was going and digging up in their yard, as dumb as they are, I knew he wasn't there. I just knew he wasn't there. Because they know if we put him here, they're going to find him. Why? Because that's the first place they're always going to look, is at the house. So, bringing cadaver dogs, well, I could see that. I can't blame them for that because this is a 7-month-old baby, so I get that part, okay? Just do a quick search around. Let's see if there's any scents. What are you picking up? So, is this something that happened because maybe the mom was holding the baby, the dad became irritated? I mean, I don't know if there's any type of medical related issues with this child. I mean, I do see his eye, and I kind of feel that there might be. Maybe he was not diagnosed with anything. But is the dad angry at that? Was he going and was he beating up his wife while she was holding the baby and he ended up getting the baby too? There's so many theories. I mean, I can go on and on and on. But the fact of the matter is that this little boy needs to be found. He needs to be found. His remains need to be found. And once those remains are found, then that's when law enforcement needs to take that DNA, take those skeletal remains, see what happened, and put those parents in jail. And the mom thinks she has it rough right now. Wait till she goes to jail. And the dad too. I hope he thinks he's as tough as he is, because he's going to have another rude awakening for him in jail. But I don't know. A lot of times parents will try to pretty much end up just killing themselves off because they know what the end results are. They know they're going to be in jail forever. And I would not be surprised if one of them, or even both, end up just doing some type of a suicide pact. I mean, what do they have to lose? They have absolutely, according to them, or actually I'm not going to say according to them, but looking at them, their end result is going to be in jail. And it's too bad that your governor has gotten rid of the death penalty. These are the cases where they just need to kind of do justice like they did way back when. You're found guilty. 100% you are guilty without a doubt. Take them in the back of the courthouse. Get rid of them. But instead, we have a criminal justice system where if they do go to jail, they're going to sit in jail. It's not going to be fancy, but they are going to be alive. They are going to have a cell. They're going to have food. They're going to have water. They're going to have, I guess we can say, a roof over their head. They're going to be taken care of on our tax-paying dollars. But yet, this innocent, poor baby, and all the other kids, all the other kids that something has happened to them, they have no future. Why? Because the parents decided you don't deserve one and end up going and just getting rid of them. And then they do this. Oh, my child, my baby, and do all these press conferences, have candlelight vigils, try to get the community on their side. Are you for freaking real? I mean, again, I have no words for this. I really don't. I really, really don't. I am just hoping and praying that this baby did not feel anything whatsoever. Nothing at all. And I'm hoping that God just immediately took him, saying, okay, we're not going to let the family do this to you. Let's go. And just takes him. And I can only imagine when he is found, when his remains are found, what story they're going to come up with next. It's just crazy. It's mind-blowing. It really, really is. I guess neighbors were saying that they pretty much keep to themselves, but that's normally a sign of some type of a controlling person, like the dad. Okay, the mom is too timid to go out. She can only say and do so much. I would be very, very surprised if this mom even had friends, because he is just so controlling. So again, what gives the parents the authority, the okay to do this, to go out somewhere and bury this poor child, to go another family to go out and take their whole entire family and put them inside of an oil tank, or a mom who ends up putting her kids in the water. I just don't get it. I cannot comprehend that. If I were in this family, and I have to say, I know nothing about them. I am going off of what I'm able to see, what I'm able to feel, what I'm able to hear. And once I saw the mom, I immediately knew she did it. When I saw the dad, and he saying he was, putting everything in past tense. When I heard that, the first he was, that told me this poor child's no longer here. So it doesn't become a search as to let's find this missing child. And I know law enforcement knows this as well. But it becomes more of a let's find his remains. So let's do that. Let's find his remains. Where are you going to go look? What are you going to do? What's next? You know, unfortunately, the area that they're located at, it's pretty much desert area. That little baby, his remains could be anywhere in the desert. And those parents, I don't feel they're going to fess up to where he's at. But if I had a family member in my family and they did something like this, I would have said, enough's enough. I would have went to that house and I would have said, you tell me where he's at so I can go and get him. And maybe it would get ugly. I don't know. But this poor child does not deserve to be, to just be thrown out, to be forgotten about. If I had somebody in my family who their child was coming over and had nothing but bruises, or was so thin, and maybe he complained about not feeling well, or making comments about, you know, the stepdad doing things to him or hurting him in some type of physical way, it would be on. Even if it was not my child, and I saw somebody out in the streets causing somebody's kid bodily harm or trying to kidnap them or whatever it is, I'm telling you, it would be on. It would be on. You know, there's just so much evil. There's so much darkness in this world. And it's as if we all have to band together. All the good needs to band together. So that way everyone can protect everyone's child or children. When I see the high schoolers getting out of school, sometimes I'm in the front yard, sometimes I'm not. But, you know, even if a car were to come by and try to kidnap one of the girls, it would be on. I'd be out there in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Just because they're teenagers does not mean that they're not children. My son is 16 years old. And he's a boy. So you all know what that means. He is still going to be immature. Even though he feels that he's not. He's still going to have some immaturity in him. Why? Because he's still growing up. And you know, it's just so sad that there's so much now that the families and the kids have to take on. And we have kidnappings, we have shootings, we have sex trafficking, we have parental abductions, we have physical assaults and so forth. I think you understand what I'm saying. So when does it stop? Is it ever going to stop? Is it just going to increasingly just become worse? This is why I want nothing more than to get out of California, live on this huge acreage of land, build multiple houses on this land. My son, when he gets older, he can live in one of those homes. When he gets older and he gets married, him and his wife, they can live in that home. And that way, the kids, the grandkids, they will be close. They don't have to be sent to a babysitter. Why? Because both myself and my wife are going to be right there. If my son or my future daughter-in-law is not able to get them from school, not a problem. Not a problem. I will get them. They're not going to stay after school unless they have some sort of an activity. But even then, there's always going to be somebody there. So really take this into consideration. And knowing even if you have kids and they're grown kids, we all know somebody who has children or grandchildren. So help them and pay attention to these signs. Look to see, is the parent feeling overwhelmed? Does the parent need a break? And it doesn't mean that every parent who has some type of mental health related issue is going to do this to their child. That's one thing I'm not saying. But why not stop it before it even becomes anywhere near like this big old fiasco going on? Just lend a hand. That's all we need to do is lend a hand to help somebody. All we need to do. Especially if they have other things going on. They have more children and they have a child who may have special needs. Just reach out to them. Sometimes all that parent needs is to have that conversation so she or he can just get it off their chest. But again, let's help all parents to keep an eye on their children and all children, because kids don't deserve this. Kids deserve to be out in the front yard, running around, all dirty because they're kids, running back in the house saying the ice cream man's coming, can we get an ice cream? Without having to worry about stranger danger, without having to worry about anything. So, my heart goes out to this little child. My heart does not go out to the family, meaning the parents. But I do pray every day that this child's remains are located, and located very, very soon. All right, everyone. Keep this little boy in your heart and in your prayers. Until next week, stay well, stay blessed.